Paul Hayes, and I run the games industry in Ireland, the association.
Dr. Mark Rowe, and I'm a family doctor based in Waterford City.
Hi, I'm Raymond Sexton. I run a small independent economic development agency called Tangible Ireland, and we deal extensively with the diaspora around the world, the Irish diaspora.
Hi, I'm Emer Gilvari. I'm managing partner of Mason Hayes & Curran, one of the sponsors here this evening.
My name is Caitlin Duffy and I'm with the Ireland Funds.
My name is Mark Colban. I wrote a book about the diaspora 4 years ago.
My name is Patrick McDermott. I'm the Chief Executive of the Dublin City University Educational Trust.
Hugo McNeil, the Ireland Funds and Goldman Sachs. And I've really seen the diaspora work because I lived for a long time in London and also in the United States. And I've just kind of seen, certainly through the Ireland Funds, the power. I recently was at the American Ireland Fund dinner in Washington. Enda Kenny spoke to the American Ireland Fund board beforehand. And their view was, we don't care how you've got here, let us know how we can help. The Americans are great. They don't do begrudgery, they do accountability. And so they've kind of really got fired up, and really even by the standards that they've done before, we've seen in our own organization just the goodwill and the effectiveness just really ramped up another notch. I think the really important thing with the diaspora, and certainly now that we're certainly trying to connect systematically with them, is two things. One, to make them feel that they can play a role and inspire them and make them feel part of this wider group. The second, which is really important, is give them clear, concrete things to do. Whether those are small things or big things, that's the most important. And I think when speaking to Kingsley and seeing what countries have done it best around the world, I think that's really great. We're great at firing people up. Just make sure that we kind of deliver in terms of giving them specific things to make a difference.
My name is Brian O'Neill. I work for Friends First, which is owned by Eureka, which is a pan-European organisation. In relation to the diaspora, I would be firmly committed to the view that the importance of the diaspora cannot be underestimated, both historically and particularly in the current economic environment. We have, as Kingsley Aitken has said, over 50 million people who would claim Irish heritage. Many of those have got significant affinity to Ireland, wish to help Ireland, wish to contribute constructively to the reconstruction of our economy. One of the reasons we have such strong inward investment into Ireland is those sort of links to expatriates, links to those who've got an affinity with this country. Obviously, their attraction to this country is also based on sound economic and business principles, but relationship and the value of affinity can never be underestimated in these type of situations, and it's something that we've continued to harvest, and we must even harvest in a more focused way going forward.
My views on diaspora, I think they're so important in terms of harnessing all of the intellectual capital and all of the intellectual culture that has left the country. I've just been in Boston for the last 5 days. I was in New York the week before that. And there's such a great feeling for the Irish over there. Our brand has been damaged somewhat, but it's coming back. So I do think it's very important. We're a very small country. We need to look out. And that's what we're doing at the moment.
What Kingsley's work has shown by going out and seeing so many countries, whether it's India, whether it's Taiwan, whether it's China, whether it's Chile, whether it's Scotland, whether it's Australia, there are bits and pieces that I've certainly learned that could be used by Ireland effectively. Ireland is good in many aspects of the networking, but I think what's interesting in the way that Kingsley has looked at it is finding specific examples that have worked in specific countries so that we at least can ask, will that work here? Some of them won't, but some of them will, and that's what's really exciting about systematically analysing and drawing the best ideas from around the world and bringing them back here.
And the key thing here is that we have a parity of esteem with them, which is that we're actually trading with them. It's no longer the law of Amok looking for donations from these people around the world. We need to now look for joint opportunities, shared opportunities, and a shared vision. The key thing is we need to work with each other and not see it as we are at the centre. It's now a global phenomenon, and we need to somehow or other embrace this, whether through voting rights or some more tangible recognition of the input of these people.
I find when I go out around the world, no matter how esoteric or technically advanced a company is, I'm always going to find someone Irish wherever I go, be it in California or Tokyo. And I think we punch way above our weight in my sector and in our industry. And I think it's starting to bear fruit now when they come back and invest in the country, and we're going to see some announcements over the next while that really underline that.
And I'm a great admirer of what Kingsley Atkins has done to promote Ireland and the diaspora on a global basis. I believe passionately in the future of our country. I think it's very good and very empowering for our young people to emigrate, travel and see the world, learn new skills, broaden their horizons, but keep in contact with Ireland, keep in contact and help develop our nation. And I think we're now in a global economy of diversity and of opportunity. And I think there are wonderful opportunities for our young people abroad. Only last week I was in Chicago at the American Health Design Conference talking about the Waterford Health Park. And there is huge admiration for Irish culture and for the many innovations that Irish people are bringing to the global table and the global marketplace. So I think what we need to do is to celebrate our Irishness, our uniqueness, our culture, our heritage, our diversity, and our opportunity. I mean, we helped to build America in the 19th century, we helped to build Britain. Let's help build China, let's help build the global economy. But by plugging into Ireland at home, we can help promote tourism, we can strengthen our sense of place in the global world and community.
I wrote a book about the diaspora 4 years ago. I called it The Best Is Yet to Come, which is a funny title given the crisis we've just had, but the basic point was that when we look at the positives of the Irish economy, huge population growth, 2 million on the island of Ireland, more people than we had 40 years ago. What we're actually seeing is the flip side of the diaspora, which is the many millions of Irish people around the world. We're now recovering that lost population growth. So the significance of the diaspora for me is connecting the huge rapid population increase which has continued through the crisis, and connecting it with the vast diaspora that we have in Britain and America, around the world, and creating international economic networks that can pull the Irish economy back out of recession. And I think we're beginning to see that happen because export growth last year was absolutely phenomenal. I think we had the fastest rate of export growth in Europe. We had the most rapid turnaround in foreign direct investment, in competitiveness gains, and a lot of that was driven by links that indigenous companies were able to forge with companies around the world that have strong diaspora links.
I think that the Irish diaspora is extremely important. I myself am part of it. I am, second generation Irish, so the fact that the Irish leave Ireland and talk so highly about their people and what their country is capable of, and then in that fact draw people back to the country, I think is huge. I mean, I think it's great for business as well as telling the story of what Ireland's all about.
Here living in Ireland for 10 years. I'm American by birth, Irish by choice, I guess. So I don't know, I think that makes me a double part of the diaspora. I think from an Irish perspective, engaging with the diaspora is an urgent need, particularly now. And I think we've just been reminded in the last year or so why the diaspora is such a meaningful part of the global Irish community.